I'm off once again. Like I said yesterday, I have to go to work today for a cookout. So, or barbecue or whatnot. So, gonna go do that. Yeah, I had a good day yesterday with my wife. We're gonna be here today, do this for hopefully just to 2. I don't imagine it will go too long. But yeah, nothing terrible. Last night, I don't think I played much. I think I played Theater Rhythm, Final Bar, the Final Fantasy music game, and I have fun with that. So especially when you kind of feel the music and you're just it's good. I beat the Tactics little. There's usually only 6-7 songs, maybe a little bit more, maybe up to 15 or something like that. That you end up playing through, for each game. So Tactics, I beat. Again, I heard some of the fantastic music, so that was cool. And then I went over to Final Fantasy X, and I was playing some of that. But just a good game because it might give you titles to songs that you don't know. And I was thinking about getting that game Pianist, which is kind of also a music rhythm game, but just old piano, compositions and whatnot. So I was like, that seems actually pretty cool to kind of play through that. But I have Theater Rhythm right now. Obviously, going to run through that and going to play through all of that. But yeah, I like that game so far. And when I was thinking, someone had asked what they were ranking celebrities' taste in movies, and through Letterboxd, through what you can make your top 4, and I was like, really, when I think about my top 4 with every genre included, I was like, man, what would that be? Really, what would that be with everything included, with all the time that I've spent to watch certain movies and etc.? What would that be? And it's funny because the guy, was doing a build for each person, and certain genres obviously have the big movies in their genre, but they have smaller movies that are more critically acclaimed, movies that are generic, sad to say, but Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, Jaws, Godfather. Oh man, there's so many more stereotypical. Gladiator. Oh my god, the list is very expansive on what what the movie can be that's generic. And obviously I think it's a little bit more movies are a little bit more generic than I think movies are a little bit more generic than games. Because I feel games, I don't know, I feel games, there's a solid 200 games that are respectful enough to be on your top, and I feel with movies I always kind of see the same. I always see The Godfather, I always see The Godfather 2, Shawshank, oh my god. But a lot of the times it's kind of some of these same kind of movies. Not to say that's necessarily bad. If a movie really, this human experience is something that if it molds to you, then that's all you really need. But it just had me wondering what my top 4 would be. And I know the only one that is honestly the only 2 that I think are pretty solid, games that I'm yeah, I don't really see them going anywhere. As far as because when I think of Lord of the Rings, I think it's like it's got an expanded universe, and I'm not saying that's always necessarily bad, but I am saying like there is just maybe a little too much to sometimes enjoy it for what it is. I wish that it was just obviously the trilogy, but now there's the show and there's the Hobbit trilogy. It's just a lot to venture into. And I was even watching Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and I like what they did, but sometimes when you're in the same universe with a giant tonal shift like that, it is a little weird, but they make sense of it because we're really seeing it through the eyes of a commoner, which we don't really see. I don't really think we see really through the eyes of a commoner at all. In the Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, like series, I don't really think we see that too often. Like when we see directly through their eyes, it's usually we see commoner through, royalty's eyes. Usually it's always kind of shifted in that way. Even watching House of Dragon with the two knights who end up getting Vermithor and I don't know the other one, but they end up getting the two dragons and Hugh the Hammer and Ulf. They get the two dragons, and we see their goofiness and see kind of the disparity between the royalty and them, but we don't see it through their eyes. We see them in the same room. Well, I think that I've always wanted to see. So I guess the tonal shift really does make sense because you see it through. You see the craziness of the royal lines through someone who is so cast out from that everything seems so odd and strange. And they're not killing him, and they're not like doing anything because they're like I guess it just makes sense, but someone had mentioned, again with like fantasy, they had said that A Night of the Seven Kingdoms would be a really good movie if it was like kind of made like contained within like 150-minute format. And I was like, oh, that makes sense, but yeah, just back to like the movies, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers and probably Jacob's Ladder are probably two movies that are pretty concrete. And I don't think any movie that's like I don't think I would put a Braveheart or a Gladiator or Last Mohegans, like any of those movies I don't think I would put in. There's always a temptation for me to put in Henry V because I think it's a very, very well done movie, with some excellent action scenes and something that kind of is realistic to a point with obvious fictitious elements and Shakespearean stuff put in them. But really, when I look through all the movies I've ever watched, I'm like, it's gotta like emotionally impact me. It's gotta, especially for a movie that's like top 4. And Jacob's Ladder really hit a nerve. And Invasion of the Body Snatchers is probably one of the most well done contained movies. Like it's just the beginning, everything's fine. The end, everything's doomed. That's all you need to know, and you can leave with that. But yeah, I don't really, because like Terminator 1, I absolutely adore. It's I love that movie. But then I think about the other Terminator movies, and kind of the same thing with Alien. Like Alien, I love, but then you think about the other ones, and then it just kind of ruins it. So yeah, I'm always kind of it's always hard for me to do a list like that because like 2001 Space Odyssey, the message is one of my favorites, but the movie itself is kind of hard for me to rewatch. So I don't think I would just put a movie in there just because I like the themes and everything like that. It needs to movies definitely need to be like that. I'm sitting down for 2-3 hours. You know, I need something that really, like Lawrence Arabia again. I love Lawrence Arabia, but on a rewatch, I don't know how easy that would be on a rewatch. So yeah, I know I'm just kind of ranting at this point and kind of just talking gobbledygook, but yeah, I really don't know. I think when I rewatched Count of Monte Cristo with my wife, again, it was kind of peeked through from a different lens. Fire Walk with Me is pretty high up there, honestly, but then it's attached to Twin Peaks, which I haven't watched all the way through. So maybe if I watched through all of Twin Peaks, I would have, you know, obviously a greater understanding of Fire Walk with Me. But as a standalone movie, I really enjoy Fire Walk with Me. I think it does a great job as a standalone. If you cut really the 30 minutes that connected to Twin Peaks. But yeah, it is hard with movies because, you know, we change, we grow, there's different takes that we have on the same movie years later. And of course, you have to go through your whole repertoire of movies and be like, oh my god, that one, I totally forgot about that one, that one too, obviously. So, you know, that's really hard to come up with one. I would have to like sit down and really work through the list. But I know that there's a few that I'm like, oh man, I really like. Even when Looper first came out, I really enjoyed that movie. And like that probably would have been in my like top 25, you know. But then kind of on rewatch, I'm like, it's not that I'm picking through it, but I'm like, I really just don't care about like the same kind of these same kind of actors and all that. So that changes too. It's just very strange. But yeah, I wanted to make this video because you know, I want to continue making videos. Oh yeah, hopefully you heard that. That was a nice thought. Just because I want to just have this this channel as like a diary or a journal. That's what it's always meant to be. So you know, just kind of inspecting things a little bit deeper in my mind, talking them out. But I'm not really good at vocalizing either, so I'm trying to kind of get better at that, like how I feel. And sometimes talking it out loud will help me like with my vocabulary and help with me with, you know, kind of getting my thoughts onto video form. That's what it, you know, there's so many reasons for this this channel, but some of them are a little less obvious and a little more vague. But I am gonna be getting to work soon. I see a few people here. We're gonna get ready for the cookout. I think everyone's yeah, it should be pretty good. Yeah, and you know, as always, I'll see you next time, and yeah. All right, I am on my way home. That wasn't too bad. It was a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but I kind of just made the time parameter in my head, so that doesn't really count. But I am on my way home. We have the UFC event, the wife and I. She actually really looks forward to it, and that's actually really cool. And I remember when I first started watching UFC, this was probably back in like really started watching it probably back in like 2019, 2020 is like when I really started. And I always knew what was happening in the UFC, like even a little earlier. I believe the Khabib-McGregor fight happened when I was on deployment, but I don't know. That just sounds a little, I don't know if Khabib, no, I just don't know. I don't know when Khabib was fighting until, and then I just don't think it was, I think I had my time frame messed up a little bit, but I I do like the UFC. Again, I kind of don't like it as much as I used to, just because like I've watched most of the fights that I want to, and you know, I don't necessarily like the commentating. I don't really like some of the rules. I don't like them not enforcing the rules. I don't like how betting came into the picture. That is definitely very disappointing. But all in all, like I do like the UFC, especially when it's a live event. You know, when you're seeing things kind of happen. You know, when it's happening. So I do like that. But in general, you know, that's something that, you know, we can watch. So it's not the worst. And I like being able to watch something with my wife. But yeah, it's funny. I don't know, you know, what they think is gonna happen when they give me the music at the cookout. Like, you give me the music, you know, I'm gonna play normal music at first, and then kind of dip into what I like. But then at the end of it, I was like, "I'll guess this orchestral, you know, soundtrack." And it was literally like in Conan and Dragonheart. But it was good to see the guys, you know, like some of the guys who have like moved on to different places, you know, like from the Liberty House. Like, it's good to see them, like, you know, some of the guys who I'm like, you know, they're fresh out of Liberty House. Like, it could be hard to like find your footing again. So it was kind of cool for them, like seeing them kind of, you know, in a spot and seeing them with their, you know, like bed buddies. I feel like they, like, there was like 4 guys who like genuinely like really like each other. And you know, even the group was a little bit bigger. You know, some of the guys didn't show up, which, you know, I understand. But it's cool like seeing guys get along, especially like laughing and that's nice, man. I like, obviously, I mean, I like laughter. I think everyone should like laughter. You know, seeing a smile on someone's face, like genuinely, like just a moment of like maybe no anxiety for a second. That's nice to see on someone else. Like I was saying earlier, I have been playing Theater Rhythm, and I do want to play a lot of Final Fantasy games, and I think that has to do with hearing the music on Theater Rhythm. And like, I really need to beat 9. Like, I think I do want to beat like 6. Like, I don't want to go too far back, because I was playing 4 and I wasn't enjoying it too much, just because it was kind of bare bones for like an RPG. But yeah, I mean, you gotta go over there. But I really do want to play like 9, 10, and 12. And I say that because 9 has like the best overworld music, like, of any game. It is so, like, I didn't even play 9 growing up. Hello, bud? Just stay in your lane, bro. It's terrible. Oh my god. I didn't even play 9 like growing up, but I was surrounded by 9. 9 was like the game that anyone who had a PS1 like absolutely loved. So like let me get home in one piece. The rain's coming down. But yeah, I grew up on the fringes of PS1. Anyone older than me, I remember I had a friend named Dakota, and he lived right up the street from me in another apartment. So I had my apartment, and then right up the hill was his apartment. And he used to come and hang out with me, and vice versa. Like, I would sleep over his house. And I didn't really even need to necessarily sleep over, because his house was literally right next to mine. But like, you know, we gave it a shot, and it was pretty cool. And eventually, you know, we just didn't hang out anymore, but he had one of the coolest rooms growing up. Him and my friend Colin both had, like, you know, painted rooms. And he had it painted, his father did The Matrix. And I thought that was the coolest fucking thing, man. It was like a black wall with all the lettering coming down on it. But he had Final Fantasy 9 like laying around. And I remember I think he played Final Fantasy 7. I don't think he played number 9. I think he was playing 7. And I didn't watch him play, like I only saw him in the overworld. But I remember FF9, he had like the disc board, and I just thought it was the coolest fucking game, man. And now, like, you know, now that we're older, like we can play any game, anytime, and you know, and I remember getting FF9 for the Switch, and I got pretty far into it. And I think that's one of those games that like I really could finish if I just like, you know, and I really need to do that more often. Like I have Grandia half finished. I have Octopath Traveler 2 half finished. I have FF9 half finished. I'm trying to think of like the other games that I have like legit half finished. Some games like I only have like 10 hours in. Like Octopath Traveler 2, I have like 30 hours. Final Fantasy 9, I had like 20 something hours. I'm trying to think. Tactics Ogre, I have like 15 hours in. So like a lot of these games I'm like pretty far into. Like I have a good amount of hours in, so it's like, dude, just finish them, man. It's really not that hard. Like it's legit not that hard to finish these games. I mean, it's their games, you know. They're not rocket science. They're nothing crazy. So I think generally, I just need to like, you know, play them and I have some other games too, man, that are like really close to being finished that I just never like put the rest of the time into. But I think as time goes on, I'm like, dude, Octopath Traveler 2 is sick, man. Like genuinely a really good game. And like I wish that Theater Rhythm like would release more music, like for kind of like their more like Square Enix's more like recent games. Like I would love to hear some songs from Triangle Strategy. They have Live Alive, but that's more of like the SNES Japanese one. So like they have some games out there that I'm like, yeah, you should definitely make another Theater Rhythm game or like just add DLC, but just, you know, spend like I don't even know how long. Which I think those like Final Fantasy 9, 10, and 12, I'm like I would definitely play through. I don't think anything's wrong with the older games, but I think just for me, I'm like I love the PS1, so FF9, and then PS2 is obviously great, so I play those too. And I'm trying to think of like any other like Suikoden 2, I should like play and finish as well because I love Suikoden 1, and Chain Echoes is another one where I'm in the middle of another playthrough. And like I beat the playthrough of Xenoblade. Like I just sat down and was like, alright, let me just beat Xenoblade. And I should do the same thing with Chain Echoes because I was kind of making like a lot of like the 100% completed playthrough. And Tales of Symphonia I got pretty far into. No, maybe I only got like, I think I only got like 6 or 7 hours into it. But still, that's 6 or 7 hours that like I played, so I should just go back and finish it. But again, I like games more than I like movies. I don't know necessarily if I like them more than books because I haven't really read that many books. And I think books can sometimes cut out the middleman of like the gameplay loop. So I really should give more books a chance. But yeah, I'm gonna be going home, taking the pups out. It's raining right now, as you can tell. But yeah, the cookout went much better than I thought it was gonna go. I had some time where I could go upstairs and play some pool. You know, I get along with the guys there. I get along with the guys who were there. I might not be that talkative, but hopefully, you know, it's all right. But yeah, I'm gonna go in Monday. Have a good week. Definitely work out. You know, Tuesday go in, work out. You know, restart that. And then Tuesday night, we got some stuff to do too. Actually, let me give my brother a call. So I'll end this video. Really, as a recap, it went pretty well. It's good to see the guys. And yeah, I will talk to you guys next time.